What's up? Jesus salute, my man. How you doing out there? What's up, YouTube family? And we're back at it with another one here at Round One Sports Talk. Let's get into it. There was a lot of amazing fights. There's a lot to cover, a lot to break down. We're gonna get into all of it. We're gonna talk about the Francis Ngannou fight. My prediction in the fight and what a lot of people thought. We're going to be talking about Terence Crawford and the announcement of him moving up to 160 pounds to challenge Chris Eubanks Jr. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to also be talking about what took place last night at the 154-pound weight division, all that and more. So if you're tuning in, grab your popcorn, lock in. This is a show, okay? It's not a skip through. You're going to tune in here. We're going to learn a thing or two about boxing. So let's get this show started. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We're going to, about Francis Ngannou and getting the payday. So, hey, let's get right into it. Let's start this show. Since you're in here, you want to talk about Francis Ngannou and what happened last night and what took place. Okay. So, last night what you saw was truly what most boxers really thought was going to happen. But you know, Francis Ngannou pulled off that performance, and like many spectators, we all thought, Tyson Fury helped him out that night by not really showing up. If Tyson Fury would have did exactly that, maybe we wouldn't be here. But kudos to Francis Ngannou, right? For only in his second professional fight, um, putting himself in an opportunity to fighting a fighter such as Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua didn't play around with him. The cat was out of the bag. He said, "You want to act like a professional boxer? I'm going to treat you as such. I'm going to treat you like a threat." And it was some of the things I talked about. I said, if Anthony Joshua just puts him in some boxing situations, he's going to make it tough for him. Now, the way he was so dominant about it, so calm, calculated, Anthony Joshua was just like, basically like, did you guys really think this was going to be like Tyson Fury's fight? Styles make fights in these situations, right? When Tyson Fury, his on that night anyway, it was just really predictable. He didn't really set up feints. He just tried to knock Francis Ngannou out, and I think he surprised him. And once he was hurt, he didn't really have the conditioning to pull off the victory the way he wanted to, Tyson Fury. But he did manage to pull off the victory. Okay, so what did we learn here? What did we learn here? Should USC fighters stay in their lane? Respect our sport like we respect yours. If you come into our sport, this is what happened, and vice versa. You see, Francis Ngannou's career in boxing, I don't think it should end. I actually think, he should fight a little bit more lower opposition, and I think he will fare well. But Anthony Joshua showed there's levels to this. There's definitely levels. And he went in there and he did his job. Hats off to you. That's what a two-time former heavyweight champion of the world is supposed to look like. That's exactly what he was supposed to do. And when he does it in that kind of fashion, some people are left like, right? Surprise, motherfucker. Yo, listen. Listen. You know what I mean?
Surprise, motherfucker. Hell yeah.
Listen. He told Francis Ngannou, let me tell you
You want
something.
to feel how hard I can punch?
Listen, he knocked that man the hell out. Now, a lot of people were saying, what was it? Uh, the Ford fight of the year. That's candidate for the knockout of the year. That counts. Uh, that was a brutal knockout. And then in my previous video, I talked about this that, when you get in fights, sometimes you don't remember quite what you did. They asked him, "Hey, is that one of your best knockouts?" He goes, "I haven't seen it yet." He don't even remember. He was so laser focused on doing what he had to do. And kudos to Anthony Joshua's corner for pointing that out to him in the second round. He said, "Yo, just feint him. Just he's gonna bite and hit him with the over." He switched lefty, overhand right. He switched back to righty, overhand right. Yo, and he saw the punch that was working, and that's what a former heavyweight champion's supposed to do. Now, where Francis Ngannou goes from here, look, for me, his stock, he still sells. He's gonna still be an attraction. I still want to see him fight Tyson Fury. I do. I believe he should take another fight in between and let now the boxers, the real boxers, handle their business. You know, um, that puts Anthony Joshua, it stamped his ticket to the winner out of Tyson Fury and Usyk, which Tyson Fury and Usyk are going to be fighting in May 16th, May 18th. May 18th. So they're going to be meeting up May 18th. And this is going to be right around Anthony Joshua's alley because he's right there for training camps. Just stay in the gym, work on what you got to work on. He looked good against an amateurish shit boxer, but he shows that he's focused and he took care of business. Tyson Fury couldn't do it. The heavyweight champion of the world couldn't do what Anthony Joshua did, and he made it look easy. Dropped him 3 times in the fight. That's how easy he made it look. He was focused, man, and he just took care of business. Now, Terence Crawford, on the other hand, has announced that he will be fighting, in fact, right, Chris Eubank Jr. Now, interesting enough, wasn't Terence Crawford waiting for the big money fights? Wasn't he skipping out on fighting Jerron Boots Ennis because he doesn't have time for him because he's looking for the bigger payday? Well, guess what happened? One of his big paydays, which would have been one of the Charlo twins, which we're going to get into, right, is no longer champion. So that option went out the window. Saul Canelo Alvarez, come on, guys. That's a big leap. So I think I see what he's doing here. He's choosing to fight Chris at 160, right? To start making his way up that way. Fight Chris let's check out Eubank's record. Now, his record is 33 fights, 3 losses, 24 big ways by knockout. Chris Eubank Jr. He's 34 years of age. He's 5'11. Okay? He has a 62-inch arm reach and he has a 72% knockout ratio. He fights at the 160, right? His last 2 fights were a rematch fight. He fought the same guy, which in the first fight he lost to. He lost to Liam Smith, right? And in the first fight, it was a 12-round fight. He was stopped in the 4th round by a TKO stoppage. So they ran it back, right? So Chris, it was a 12-round fight. He stops him in the 10th round by a TKO stoppage. He revenges his loss. So he's coming off his last performance, which was a win to a guy he previously lost to. Okay. Now, Terence Crawford, on the other hand, Terence Crawford has 40 fights, 31 big ways by knockout. He's 36 years of age. Okay. He's 5'8". He has a 74-inch arm reach, and he has a 77% knockout ratio. Yeah, I know my champion. Yes. So, it's interesting enough that he took this fight right here because he started to see that, some of his opportunities had left the building, seeing that Tim Tszyu already has a fight with Keith Thurman, right? So I think he's going to chase the Saul Canelo Alvarez fight. He's going to fight this fight at 160, and then he has plans And I think it's talked up with Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, we all know Saul Canelo Alvarez is kind of in limbo due to a promotional. Who's going to be promoting his next fight, where and when? Doesn't look like business is on schedule. He will not be fighting May 4th. So I don't see that happening. Okay. Now, interesting enough, at the 154-pound weight division last night, we have the new champion. I went on Boxing Record and I looked at it. But interesting enough, if you go to like the regular page, they still got Jamel Charlo as the WBA Super Champ, 154-pound champion. And then if you go to the champions list, right, they got Israel. What's his name? Yeah, Israel. He became the new 154-pound WBA world champion super. So they're gonna have to change it. So that means officially Jermell Charlo has no belts. He's beltless at the 154-pound weight division. According to Boxing Record right now, I'm gonna read it off to you. I have it right on the screen. Okay. Uh let's go to the champions here. I'm gonna load up the champions. Go to their okay, here we are. Okay. According to the 154-pound weight division, the IBF is vacant. Oh, that's the IBF interim. Oh no. The IBF world title is taken by Alameda Chucky Lee. Yo, these guys' names be killing me, bro. But the IBF, I don't want to mess up a champion's name. With all due respect, I'm sorry about that. The IBF is taken. The IBF interim is vacant. The IBO, yeah, the Mexican has it. The WBA, what gold? The WBA's no, no, I'm in the wrong weight division. I'm in the wrong weight division. Okay, okay, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. No, I knew it. I was like, what the fuck? Who's this guy? I had it clicked on the wrong division. The IBF is vacant. The IBF is vacant. Jamel Charlo no longer has the WBA Super. Israel has it now. And then the WBC World is vacant. The WBC interim is vacant. The W This is fucking crazy, bro. He went and fought Saul Canelo Alvarez and ended up getting stripped of all his belts on a pursuit to try to do what? They dangled the carrot in front of that man, Jamel Charlo, and his opportunity that he stand to win on that night to be the first man in boxing history to simultaneously held four belts in one weight division, 154, and four belts at 168, which would have been a remarkable feat, right? It was so true. It was so good, in fact, to be true, right? That it cost him everything. Without anybody beating Jamel Charlo, he is no longer champion at 154. And no one beat him. He ran up there and fought Saul Canelo Alvarez and pissed off the WBO. Because leading into that, if you don't know the backstory to it, Tim Tszyu is the WBO mandatory. And Jamel Charlo had asked Tim Tszyu to step aside and let him unify all the titles. And they gave him step aside money. But when he did that, he came up short. It was a draw against Costanza, right? So what they did was they ran it back. They go and run it back. He wins, gets all the belts, right? But he took more step aside money. Then he ends up fracturing his hand. He breaks his hand, and Tim Tszyu, he's crying to the WBO, I want my shot, I want my shot. But what happened was Jamel Charlo took him as a step aside money kind of guy. You're not about legacy. You're about the money because you took the money. Had you been about legacy, you would have never took the money. You would have said, man, I don't give a fuck about your career and you unifying. I don't care. I want my shot at the title. But Tim Zoo's, him and his management said, if you take the step aside money, right, you let them unify, then guess what your fight is for? 4 belts. So take the money, and then your next fight will be for 4 belts, not for 1 belt. So I could see where Tim Tszyu was thinking too. You know, he was looking at his opportunity. He didn't know that it was going to be a draw. He didn't know they was going to run it back. He didn't know that he was going to break his hand. And then he also didn't know that he was just going to say, fuck the WBO and go and fight Saul Canelo Alvarez to pursue this fucking fight that he was never going to win, right? And by going after Saul Canelo Alvarez and taking that bullshit ass money, right, which he would have made in 2 fights anyway, defending all 4 belts, and he would have been a more prestigious champion. Instead, he opted to sacrifice the WBO because the WBO told him the moment you enter the ring with Saul Canelo Alvarez, you are no longer the WBO champion. We're going to strip you and we're going to upgrade Tim Tszyu. So he knew that going into the fight. Still took the fight. Fuck you, WBO. You know what I'll do? I'll fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. I'll sacrifice the WBO. I'll move back down in weight, fight Tim Tszyu, get my belt back. Everything will be gravy. That's what he thought, right? Speed things up present day. Where's he at? He has no belts. Every one of his belts have been stripped. He is no longer a champion. Was it worth it? Was it worth it to go up there to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez and get beat like you did, put up the kind of performance you did, and lose everything? Was it worth it? Fucking crazy, bro. Nobody beat that man for his belts, but he has no belts. Can I get a R1? Can I get some likes up in the air? Come on, man. Dropping some shit for y'all, man. This is crazy. You gotta pay attention to what's going on, man. It's just ridiculous. Listen, we have what you guys think about that fight last night with Nick Bell versus Vargas, Ray Vargas? Do you feel like the right person won the fight? And like it was incredible the the obstacle that Nick Bell had to overcome, an 8.5-inch height difference. It was truly crazy. He made him look like a little person. I was like, wow, that's a but Nick had to see that what he was looking for was to land a big shot. He knew he had the power, but once he landed that big shot, what he had to do was box. Just touch him. And I talked about this and I said all he had to do was calm down. Look, your opportunity came. I get it. But once you saw that he was still in front of you, you needed to relax. You still had a hurt man in front of you. Just hit him enough to keep the spinning going. Keep him hurt. But he was trying to finish him. And there was a difference. And I know when he goes back and he looks back at the fight, he's going to wish that maybe he would have just got his timing a little bit better. But he was fighting the fight, in my opinion, at the wrong distance the whole night. He was at the distance where he was allowing Ray to just fire off on him. He didn't belong in that distance. If he was the much shorter guy, he really needed to do that Mike Tyson peekaboo style, Jordan in. If he was going to take those shots, regardless, at least take those shots, giving him pressure, pushing Ray Vargas back, because he's going to go back trying to fire off on him. And at least you're getting him to work that way. When Ray Vargas was firing off on him, he was firing off on him by a comfortable position. Bam, 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 bam. Comfortable. He wasn't exerting a lot. As you can see, had he put a better forward and was in his face like that, because he was taking those shots from the outside regardless. Try to stifle some of them, and he looked like he was good on the inside. Nick had that slick little jab there. He was quick with it. He was snapping Ray Vargas' neck back, right? What? And look, man, he just needed to calm down. And he got the shot multiple times late in the fight, but he kept just looking for that one shot. You know, I get it. I know when sometimes your power got you where you are, and that's all they're telling you in training camp. Yo, you're gonna hit him with a big shot. You're stronger than him. You're more to the ground. You're gonna connect. And I think that drilled into his head, and he forgot he could box at some point in this fight. He didn't need to just go for it. What's up, everyone out there joining the live stream? Love you guys. Please click the like. Let me answer some of your questions. Boxing Learner says they are both training by. Oh, what's up? What did I miss here? They're both trained by Bomac. You're talking about? Yeah, I was going to mention that. How are they going to work that out? Terence Crawford and Chris Eubank. They're both trained by Bomac. Thank you for bringing that up. You know, um, that's an interesting. Is that considered an in-house fight? I know they're not the both promotional, but how do you work that out? How do you train two fighters? Is he going to go to another gym? Is this going to cause, because oh, 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 you know, what are they going to split the gym? Bomac and against Bomac's trainers? How's that going to work? Is Chris Eubank going to go back to his first coach? The one that he left? I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, that's why Errol Spence Jr. never fought Jamel Charlo. Things like that. When when Tank Davis fought Rolly and they were both in Mayweather promotion, basically fighting, in Mayweather's gyms. The difference between that is they both had different trainers. Tank Davis was trained by um, Calvin Ford. You see, so they didn't have the same trainer. But now in this situation, they're both trained by Bomac. Did you anybody hear what he was gonna do about that? Nobody wants to see. I'm not too sure about that. Munguia versus Canelo. People would want to see that fight because of what Munguia brings to the table, the little bit of flair and excitement that he brings. Although I think that Canelo's way more seasoned as a fighter, you can't underestimate Canelo Alvarez. You really can't. He's been in there with the best of them. Um, I think that Canelo Alvarez was at a point in his career where maybe he wasn't as dedicated as he should have been. And he knows he's a great fighter. But when you got a lot of good talent and stuff, I think he was sliding by kind of. But he is dangerous. And when he needs to show up, he could. He could. But the last time I saw that was arguably against Triple G. So since I haven't seen that in so many years, he hasn't really, you know. So maybe Munguia can upset the cart. I don't know. I for who Saul Canelo Alvarez is, and on paper, Munguia's not supposed to do that, right? But you know, I think I think I think he would be a better challenge than Berlanga. Would you want to see Saul Canelo Alvarez against Berlanga? Huh? Don't if we can get him against Jaime Munguia, shut up. Like, okay, I'll take that. He ain't fighting no one. Come on. You gotta give me something. You gotta give me somebody. He's gotta fight somebody. I'm tired of these guys showing up and like, who the fuck is this guy? What's his name? We gotta look this guy up. Some European champion of, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real, people. I mean, I'll take that. If you agree with me, can I get an R1? You know, or 100? Jamel, I don't want boxing. Uh, man, ju- I, I don't know, man. Look, people go through shit in life, okay, and people can bounce back. That's up to the individual. When I speak, sometimes I have to realize that I'm saying and when I have a tendency of viewing things in my life, I view it like I would have done it. But that's not what's going on. Me and whatever person that is, we are different. And unfortunately, that's how they did it. That's how I have to base it by, not by what I would have done, not by what I think. It's by how he would get himself off or get himself out of whatever situation he's in. Whether or not his heart is still in the sport of boxing, time will tell. Boxing will call your bluff. It really will. If you're not training and you're not in it like that, it's going to show in the ring. Boxing is a real truth teller. You can talk all the talk you want. You can say you ran 10,000 miles. And when we watch you in the ring and you start to gas out, we're going to know you're bullshitting. Boxing will keep you honest. Sometimes you have your occasion in fight where the guy gets away with it and it seems to hurt him more and more. Fighters like Adrian Broner that got by, he was really, really, really good at one point, and then you saw he was just trying to get by off of his training once carried him through some of those fights until it would no longer, and then it showed up. That beating he took really took a lot out of him too, and made him gun shy. Look, these are the things in the sport of boxing, and we have a lot of great fights and a lot of changing of belts. I told you, be prepared to see your favorite fighter lose. And sometimes not even in the ring, as you can see with Jamel Charlo. He didn't even lose in the ring, no belts. That's a done deal, baby. Now we have some other exciting fights that I'm looking forward to. Listen, I can't wait to see the return of Tank Davis. I like his opponent selection, Frank the Ghost Martin. I believe he's a worthy adversary to fight Tank Davis. And once again, I'll take Frank the Ghost Martin over Isa Pitbull Cruz, Ryan Garcia, Hector Luis Garcia. Come on, man. Oh, yeah, I'll take Frank Martin over all those guys. The last guys he's been fighting, you know? Yeah. About time we get Tank Davis in the ring with someone that I feel that has the athletic ability and the skills, because let's just keep this in mind. Frank Martin beat Rivera, right? That was pretty impressive. But what I'm thinking about is every time you see your fighter, you're supposed to see a better version of that fighter. So if the next time we see Frank the Ghost Martin, he's going to be better than that. I was like, okay, okay. So what's Tank been doing? I know Tank's good. But has he been in the gym? Has he been in the lab? Is he coming off a silent layoff? Now, one thing about boxing, you can get financially rich almost overnight. And sometimes with the sport of boxing, no one tells you how to manage your money. You make mistakes, you lose money, you make money back. Then taxes come around. You start to realize that with money and wealth, there comes responsibility. And you have to start to learn how to adapt with it. A person that never has money, when they get money, the first thing they think, shopping spree. Shopping spree, yeah, because you ain't got nothing. I get it, right? But you give that same amount of money to a rich person. The first thing they think about, putting it in the bank, saving it, waiting for an opportunity to invest the money or to buy something they really want rather than spontaneously spend it. So in this sport, behind the scenes, you may see a lot of turmoil in the athlete early. And these are all the things due to the big part, in fact, money. They don't know how to act. Then they start to realize, wait a minute, I don't want to end up like a lot of these fighters at the end of their career, broke, being a valet attendant, opening doors in a hotel for rich people going by when you were the champion of the world. There have been sad stories. So, one of the things is, although Floyd Mayweather is flamboyant and everything, he is a good person to look up to because he didn't leave the game like that, did he? So now Tank Davis must be looking at him, and Floyd got to be telling him, yo, the one thing I did right, kid, you could criticize you. I maintained my money. I made a lot of mistakes. I bought a lot of stupid shit, but I'm learning how to live with it. And those are the things that sometimes behind the scenes, Tank Davis is dealing with. You know how you start to learn all these things? Look at his purchases, houses, his neighborhood in Baltimore. He bought he's doing like Monopoly right now. He's got a lot of outside responsibilities, plus his family, his brother, all, you start thinking, man, my man, we grew up together. I want to take care of him too. And you start to realize that, wait a minute, I have a career I need to focus on. What got me here? You see? And that's what happens to some of our athletes. And sometimes early, some of these athletes get the right people around them, and they have people to take care of these kind of things. And then you have snakes that stab you in the back. And, you hear these horror stories all the time in the sport of boxing. So, speaking of which, we have a lot of great fights, right? And also, we have an amazing UFC card for my UFC heads out there. Real quick, I want to talk about this amazing card. Look, Dana White is fucking hitting back hard right now. This card he put together, the main event is Sean O'Malley, right? And he's going to be going against Marlon Chito, which Marlon's got the only win on Sean O'Malley. No matter how you feel about that, he kicked behind the nerve in the knee. I saw the fight, his leg rolled. It is what it is. He still lost the fight, okay? So now the tables have changed. You would think that in that fight and in that moment, Marlon gets up and goes, this is the Cheeto show now. Like he would have took Sean O'Malley's place in the contentions of being the next person to fight for the title. Well, in fact, it didn't play out like that now, did it? Sean O'Malley got the crack at the title first, even off that loss, miraculously, right? So he becomes a champion. They're gonna shoot it back, but Dana White really fucking showed his ass on this card, bro. He's got an amazing fucking card. An honorable mention in the big prelims before the co-main event. You got Curtis Blade. He's fighting. Um, he's been around in the UFC for a long time. He's fighting against Carlton. You got in the main card, kicking off the main card. You got Peter Yang, man, fighting against Sun Young Dong, right? That Chinese guy. Yo, that dude is nasty. If you've never seen son, yo, he's got one against this Mexican dude. Nice. Oh, yo, he's nasty. And Peter Young was a former world champion at 135 pounds. Peter Young is a fighter. So they got them two going off. In the welterweight division, you got Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a dog, right? Um, he fighting against Jack. Um, Malay, listen, Jack is on fire right now in the UFC. He's like he's an upcoming prospect. It seems like Dana White kind of doing his thing where like, let's see if the old heads still got what it takes. And he's putting them up against all the top young dudes on this card right here. Yo, it's a banger tonight, right? And then he's got Kevin Hall. Kevin Hall is coming up against Mike Page. Mike Page is making his first UFC appearance. He's a legend in like Bellator, K1, shit like that. Mike Page. Um, this is his debut. Everybody's been anticipating, wonder why Dana White didn't sign that guy a long time ago, right? Then you got on the co-main event, you got Dustin the Diamond Poirier. Man, he's coming against the God of War, um, Ben Wall. Listen, the God of War, that dude is exactly what he. Oh, he's a mega. And I looked at Dustin Poirier. Yo, he looked amazing. He was ripped. I was like, yo, these are like all the old, like I'm saying, against all the new guys. Yo, I guess it's a men's day in the UFC because it's all men. And I was like, whoa, like he is really putting out an amazing card. That's a great card right there. I might have to just check that out right there, bro. Right. So anyway, um, we still have Keith Thurman, one time Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. Um, look, that's another fight where some of these sanctioning bodies are lashing out to the fighters and telling them, yo, we'll work with you, but at the same time, you got to work with us. We'll let you fight other champions, but at least fight other champions. The WBO has to be pissed off at Tim Tszyu for allowing to fight one time Keith Thurman. So much, in fact, that they wouldn't sanction the fight. So now he's taking the fight at 155 pounds. So he's the 154-pound champion. So by fighting at 155, the belt's not on the line. Ironically, Keith Thurman can't stand to win the belt, but Tim Tszyu can stand to lose the belt. The WBO announced that if he is to lose this fight, he will lose his belt. And I guess the belt will become vacant. Ain't that some bullshit? That's how pissed off they are with some of these gimme fights. Because the WBO is recognizing, look, we want you to fight who we would like you to fight, but at least in our weight division. And if you want to fight another champion, we're cool with that, but at least do that. Who the hell is Keith Thurman? He's moving up to fight you at 155. He should have been fighting at 147. So you could see where the frustration of some of the sanctioning bodies, and then they start to criticize the sanctioning bodies for pulling off these kind of moves, for like stripping fighters like Terence Crawford, for the sanctioning bodies opening their eyes and realizing, wait a minute, you have no intentions of defending that title. You're just holding up the division. We will not make another red cent off of you. Terence Crawford was never going to defend those belts at 147. The IBF saw that. The IBF saw that. And they opted out to strip him. The other organizations were like, no, maybe he just might defend. Now look at where is he fighting? 160. Everyone was right. Why did he need to hold up to 147? If you already accomplished what you wanted to accomplish in life by becoming the two division, all four belt champion and the first man, you achieved it. If you have no intentions on defending those titles, let them go. Allow other boxers to live, achieve what you wanted to do. Why would you hold up and keep us all hostage knowing you was never going to defend them? Now, what is he doing now? 160 pounds. They knew it. The IBF knew it. But yet, and then everybody's going to come on YouTube and say, oh, this is favoritism. This is corruption. The brother got the belt and they stripped him. No, this is also business. And the IBF is a business. You're not going to bring them any more money. Not in that weight division. You stand to do it in another one, then go do it. But yet, everybody else was right and they weren't right. No, they were right on stripping him. He was never going to fight at 147. That's the truth, man. It's business. If you own the IBF and he was just holding it, what would you do? Man, give my belt. I need somebody to fight for my belt to bring me money. We're not in the luxury of being nice. You know what I mean? We got fighters that are trying to come up in the rankings, and you just want to take pictures with our belt. Hey, what's up, bro? Yeah. Fuck your pictures, man. Give me my belt. I need money. Fuck out of here. So now he's going up there. Look, with that performance that Anthony Joshua pulled off last night, it merits him a shot at the winner of Usyk and Tyson Fury. At the end of the year, if they're fighting in May, they could still fight, right? Interesting enough, you're also going to have Demetrius Bivol and Arthur. Now that's good. And we'll see if we'll have a definitive king in those two divisions. Then, on top of that, you got this gentleman right here. And he will be putting it all on the line against Luis Pantera Nares, okay, for all four belts at the 122-pound weight division. Those all four belts will also be on the line. As it stands right now, Japan seems to have one up on Mexico, right? Seeing that Japan has knocked out, wait a minute, Japan fell short too, right? Abe lost, right? So Lewis revenged that one. Yeah, that's right. So, like, yo, Japan and Mexico, they've been going back and forth. If you haven't noticed, they have. So now Mexico is putting up one of their fighters against one of their the top Japanese fighter in the world. You know, it is what it is. He is the front runner for Japan, okay? And they're putting up one of their Mexican fighters against him, you know? So, uh, yeah, they've been on a little thing back and forth. Yeah. So, and then I want to see where Subriel Matias, what happens, the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney debacle. We all see what's been going on. As of right now, you can kind of see that Ryan Garcia is a little bit going radio silence. I think it's better for his mental. Derek James doesn't always seem rattled. He kind of like blocks off all those questions. He doesn't seem like he's frustrated with Ryan Garcia, which is a good thing as a coach. Or maybe he has a good poker face. He understands that, you know, by him coming out saying anything, it's not going to help his fighter or his credibility in the fight. So I don't think he would talk down about his fighter, Ryan Garcia. Derek James is still the coach of many good fighters and up and coming, one in particular being Frank the Ghost Martin, that is coming into a fight with the one and only Tank Davis. Look, I think that Ryan Garcia, you know, he always has a puncher's chance with the speed and skills that he possesses, whether or not he can put it together. You're gonna see for yourself firsthand, and Devin Haney's gonna remind you, like he's gonna remind the rest of the world that there's levels to this. He's gonna show you. Look, I understand that. Look, you guys are basically picking Devin Haney's last few fights. The public, you noticed that, right? He's trying to be the kind of champion where he's telling you, who do you want me to fight? Who, him? Get him in the ring. Ah, bah, 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 bah. You see, Devin Haney, he didn't have to fight Lomachenko. He did that because he didn't want anybody to say that now he was ducking him. He goes, no, don't say that I'm ducking you because I will give you these hands. And he did. And Lomachenko, to be honest with you, he did not deserve that fight against Devin Haney. No, he didn't. He didn't give young Devin Haney a chance when he was 19 and he vacated that WBC to Devin Haney, where in fact they started calling him the email champion because of that belt. That belt in particular, it was Lomachenko's belt. And he opted out to fight Devin Haney and he vacated it and they made him the franchise. So Loma never deserved that fight. Devin Haney has been fighting these fights that the people are saying, hey, fight this guy. Hey, fight him. And now Ryan, whoever's the loudest, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. You want to cry wolf? You want to pretend like you're that guy? Like you're really living a boxer's life? You want to pretend like your slick back hair and your looks is going to win you the fight? You want to see what a warrior really looks like, Ryan Garcia? You want to see what hard work and dedication really looks like, Ryan Garcia? Well, you're about to find out. Because, baby, you signed up for it. And the world is either watching your meltdown or we're going to see if you have the fucking balls to show up to that fight with Devin Haney because this is going to really speak volumes. Kid, remember, you wanted this. You went all over social media yelling, I want to fight these kind of guys, but you didn't want to earn your way to them. You wanted to talk your way to them. And just like Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua, he had to remind the world, oh, there's levels to this. And although you got a big name and you're a big man and you hit hard, you're highly skilled, I'm going to show you to stay in your lane. Thank you, Anthony Joshua, for proving the point, for showing, no, that's why we're professionals. We are at an elite level. And if you think you can get off your couch and walk up on one of them, homeboy, get up. Don't do it. Don't do it. Bro, with that one punch, he might have took 2 or 3 years off Francis' life. I'm trying to tell you. Can I get a round one up in here? Come on, people. Fights. Look, I think that we have some pretty good fights coming up. We're gonna have some good boxing matches. I think I'm gonna go in and do another live stream tonight. I wanted to get in, share a little bit of this right here. I think I shared enough. I gotta keep a little something for tonight if I want to go on. All right, people. I can't be dropping all this hotness. All you know what I mean? But you know if you come here to my channel, Round One Sports Talk, I always keep it right. You know what I mean? So, but look, what do you guys think? You guys want to see Terence Crawford fight Chris Eubank here? Out of all the fighters he could have had, and out of all the shit he was saying, no, I'm not fighting this guy because I want a big money fight. I'm what, and this is what you came up with. You know why? Fucking Terence Crawford's career, bro. I gotta admit, shit happens in his fucking career, bro. And has sometimes it's out of his control. It really is. The man unifies that year, and they get fighter of the year to Loma. He unified all four belts at 140. Right? What a smack in the face. So he goes, okay, cool. He moves up to another weight division, gets his belt, the first belt, and Errol Spence Jr. gets in a car accident, which alters the course of that fight for years to come. Fuck. Yeah, he couldn't see that coming, right? So man, he was like at a poker game. He was already all in. He couldn't just get up and walk away. He had put himself in a situation. He was like, what the fuck? So he finally gets to the title fight with Errol Spence Jr. and he wins all four belts. And he's like, man, I'm the first guy. Yeah. Yo, they made him an honorary ringside magazine belt to for the occasion. And they gave him a party. Not even one calendar year passed to a record in boxing that has never been achieved in the history of boxing. When you think about records and, the amount of time they should stand the test of time, you would think that that would have been a record that would last the next 100 years because it took all this time for it actually to happen. He's in his party and they tap him on, yo, what's up, man? And he's like, someone else already did it. What are you talking about? It's only been 6 months. Yeah, a Japanese dude. He's 5'5". What? Naoya Inoue. Who the hell is this guy? What do you mean he did what I did? No fighter in history's ever done this. And within 6 months, another guy walks in the room. Fucking shit. Yo, this shit like this has plagued Terence Crawford's career, man. Every freaking time it seems like the man puts himself in a position where he wants to be like, yeah, look at what I've done. The cameras just leave him. And he's like, yo, oh my God, bro. And I feel him, man. I feel him, but it sucks. It, ah, ah, that must suck, bro. Yeah, man. It seems like that's really what has happened to him because and now that he won all this and he got to himself where he could have been like, yeah, I'm gonna pick a big money fight. How could he have foreseen that Jamel Charlo was gonna fall off like that? How could he have foreseen that all the fighters in the rematch wasn't gonna go back? Everything that he sacrificed and went after, if I beat him, I'll get even more paid on the rematch. They took that away from him. They took every time Terence Crawford sees a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, fucking something happens, bro. And now he's left with fucking Chris Eubanks. Yo, I don't mean to laugh, bro, but that fucking sucks, man. You gotta be shitting me. You got to be shitting me, man. He had it all. Every single time the opportunity, it was like right there. I don't know, guys. But anyway, guys, let me read some of you guys' messages. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, Ron? I'm all right. How you doing in the building? Everybody that has watched the channel has stopped in. Thank you. Love you guys. Let's read off some of these messages. That's a that's a that's a strong statement. Yeah, you can win a belt. You do all the work, you win the belt. It's a different category when you defend the belt amongst champions. Yes, it is. Uh you can win a world title, but if you never defend your world title, you don't solidify your world championship. In fact, some organizations live by that. Yes, they do. You can be the WBA and you win let's say the WBA was vacant and you and another guy fight for it. Do you not notice that you become the WBA world first? After you defend the WBA world, you are promoted to the super, which means now you're that kind of champion. There are belts that live by that Pacific rule that you're talking about. That's how you get elevated to the super in some of these belts. You never win the super. You have to earn the super belt. Yes, in fact. So the belts themselves recognize, yeah, it's one thing to win a world title. Yes, but it's another thing to defend the world titles. Now you have solidified your championship as a champion. No one can take that away from you. You can go out and lose your next fights, whatever. But you win it and defend it, winning it is great, yeah. But there has been many champions that have won a world title and vacated the world championship and moved up. Case in point, Ford, right, is going to end up doing just that. I mean, he won the belt at 126, boom, whatever. He announced, I'm vacating the belt and I'm moving up. He never defended that belt, but he is a world champion. He never lost it there, but he never had intentions on it. You see, so those are different case scenarios where he took this fight merely for the opportunity and he put his body through rigorous stuff because he's just outgrowing the division. He could no longer make the weight, but the opportunity of a world title was too great. He took a shot and he won. You see? So in his case, he doesn't defend that belt. Do I consider him not a champion? No, no, because he did championship shit on that night. And the way he won that belt was a championship style of fight. And I tip my hat off to his victory. So, in my eyes, because of his performance, because he was honest, not holding up the division and choosing to move up, he's a champion in my eyes. So, it kind of depends on those kind of situations rather than you being a champion, holding on to the belts, fighting everybody else in either upper weight, down weight, everybody but the people in your division, and you never successfully defended that belt, you're not that kind of champion. No, 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 no. You're just plain champion, So and if you're gonna get all four belts, the mistakes some fighters make that when they're in that situation, they should have defended all four belts. Fighters in particular that will not be getting credit for being those kind of champions. Terence Crawford never defended none of his four belts and no weight division. Jermell Charlo never got a chance to defend all four belts. He won't go down as that kind of champion. They had they were there. They fucking threw it away, bro. Terence Crawford could have still, in the time that he was on 140, he could have defended those four belts. I know he could have defended those. Now the four for 147, I'm not sure if he could have did it. Maybe he could have did it. Maybe, just maybe. I mean, if he made the Errol Spence Jr. weight, he could have did it maybe one more time. If he stood disciplined. If right after that fight he didn't go on vacation and he kept that weight right there, he could have pulled it off. Yeah. But he will not go down as that kind of champion. Naoya Inoue has the opportunity and he realized the moment. He said, I did what Terence Crawford did, but what will separate me from him is that I defended mine. And he's right. He's right. The minute he knocks out Lewis, not that's it. He beat Terence Crawford, bro, in that department. Yeah. The fact that um what he's done in just 18 months span, he's got like a Hall of Fame career in 18 months span. Yeah. He unified 4 belts in 2 separate weight divisions. What else you want? You're going to Hall of Fame with just 4. He did it twice within 6 months. Fucking ridiculous, bro. When it's all said and done, people are gonna fear the kind of numbers and the kind of achievements he's putting up. Oh, it's gonna be ridiculous when it's all said and done. But yeah. Oh, look, we got a lot to talk about. There's a lot of fights tonight too, as well. Um, and yeah. Anything else? EK Train, what's up, buddy? How you doing? The WBO doesn't allow you to hold their title simultaneous in multiple divisions. Um, no, no, no. Okay, see, here's the thing. Here's the rule. The WBO, in their structure, they're the only organization that allows you to challenge the champion in the existing weight division or the lower one. It's up to you. It's your preference. If you want to move down in weight for whatever reason, maybe there's a greater opportunity down there for you. Or you want to move up, they will allow you to fight the above champion. Here's the thing. In the rule structure, it says uh, by doing so, you are giving up the right to your belt in the lower weight division. You see, you can't keep both of them. They also acknowledge the fact that they will not allow you to hold up the divisions. If you're choosing to move up, well, then you're choosing to move up. See, the organization is not going to play that with you. Where you can be the champion and like that Japanese dude would have been the WBO champion in 4 weight divisions simultaneously, but he's not. He's got 4 belts in each weight division, but as he moved up, he had to vacate that belt. But he still earned it, you know, but not simultaneously. They're not gonna the organization is not gonna play that fuck shit. You see, and what they're saying is, yeah, we'll give you that, but you would now vacate this one and fight for this one. Or whichever way you decide to go. You understand? But you can't hold all the belts if you don't have this is a business. And as long as you're holding belts that you're not defending, they're not making money off of them. The only way they make money is when you go in the ring and raise their belt up in the sky and that night you got to pay sanctioning fees to the belt because their belt is on national TV, they got the national stage and you're fighting for their world title. So and then they get their cut. But as long as this belt is sitting on the shelf, they ain't getting paid. You got to get in the ring and defend it to get sanctioning fees. So why would I allow you to hold 4 belts in 4 separate weight divisions when there's only one man? You can only fight in one weight division. What the fuck are the other 3 belts? I could have 3 separate champions rocking in those divisions, making my organization money. That's how that goes. I don't know if they'll ever fight a rematch because depending on wins and losses, sometimes your career goes in a different direction. just like Agmadalia. Agmadalia was said at one time of being a real threat to the Japanese superstar Naoya Inoue. Am I right? Okay. Now Akmadalia, it looks like that train is leaving the station. I don't think we'll ever get that fight. I think the Japanese superstar, the minute that he wins that fight against Luis Pantera Nares, I think he's going to announce that he's going to move up to the 126. The only way Akmadalia will ever meet him again is that if he chases him, he would have to move up, because I think that he's already in a different trajectory. I don't think you're gonna see him fighting Casamera. I don't think all those fights are gone. They can fight each other, or maybe his brother, because his brother's down there making noise. As you can see on his card, his brother's gonna make a WBA title defense. You see? So look, I don't know if they're gonna run it back. I that I can't tell you. What I do know is that Parker and Zhang are going to run it back, because they had a rematch negotiation over that interim WBO title. So Parker let it be known. They said, "Who's your next fight?" He said, "I'm gonna fight him. We got a rematch." That's when you know, yeah, yep, they're gonna rematch it. Whether or not they'll rematch, I don't. It depends which way. What if another opportunity arises, and maybe a lower or upper, and they say, "Yo, you can fight this champion." He's probably going to do that. And the way things look nowadays, that seems to be the thing. Other guys not in their weight division going around messing around in other weight divisions, and that seems to be the gimmick, where that they know if you move up one weight division, that shit is hard. Okay, there are fighters right now. Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant said, "I'm not going nowhere." They asked him, would you want to move up?" He goes, "No." He's, "I'm gonna try to, see if I can try to fight Saul again." He goes, "I ain't moving nowhere." Shit. That shit is hard as shit. He's in his fourth, possibly headed to his fifth. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. It's crazy. Terence Crawford has 40 fights with 31 knockouts, and I believe he only has 3 with 40 fights. You have to understand, he has 26 fights, and he has 4. You heard that correct. 26 fights. Terence Crawford, what it took him a lifetime to do. 40 fights, 31 knockouts. He has 26 fights. It's fucking bananas. It's crazy. Let's see here. Well, it's easy to see that Josh is on another level against that kind of competition. You see, although what Joshua was fighting last night was Francis Ngannou's name, who he is as a man, that we've seen him fight in the UFC, and as such. So technically, what he was fighting was the allure of this dominant fighter in a sport he wasn't so familiar. And that, for a moment, blinded you to the fact that this was actually going to be competitive. When Anthony Joshua had to remind the world, no, I am a 2-time former heavyweight champion of the world. And if you honestly think you're going to get this guy with a record of 0-1, that is actually who he was fighting. No matter what you perceived Francis Ngannou as being the kind of fighter, this wasn't where he was doing that in, was it? And Anthony Joshua came in and did his job. And boy, did he do it. Yo, he silenced all that shit. The notion that Tyson Fury, by his performance, misled people like yourself. because of Tyson Fury fucking off and not doing what he needed to do against Francis Ngannou, it got everyone believing, wait a minute, Francis Ngannou might be that special human. And everything was going good until Anthony Joshua put that right hand on his jaw. And that was gone like that. And he set the world straight. It seemed like the world was going crazy. All the Jake Pauls of the world now are the greatest fighters. Like the Jake Pauls is trying to fight Mike Tyson. This is just fucking ridiculous, bro. And like people are saying, oh, that's still good competition. He's fighting a name. For God's sake, Mike Tyson is what, 60 years old? Like, stop this. Like, what are you doing, Jake Pauls? If you want to be taken seriously, fight someone in your division that's an active boxer. Period. You want to start your career? Then start off at the bottom. Jake Paul just wants to kind of get a bigger, washed up name and just milk boxing. And it seems like it's working. And then when Anthony Joshua set the world the axis straight again last night, I fucking kind of loved it. I feel a little bit for Francis Ngannou, but he's a big boy. He can handle it. Dust yourself off and let's see where you go from this. But as of the men in my sport, the champ, Anthony Joshua got a great payday with the easiest work fucking ever. And off of the easiest work ever, it got me in line for a title shot at what, 4 belts? What more can you say? Sign me up. Come on, man. Listen, I love you guys. Round one sports talk. You know I'm always dropping. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be signing off. You know, we're gonna give Francis Ngannou his
Surprise, motherfucker. Hell yeah!
Wow, it's very nice.
You want to feel how hard I can punch?
he
Well, I've
told him.
got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to me.
Yo, he shut them lights. Yo, oh my God, that was some black on black crime there. He rocked them, baby. Yo, he did them dirty too. That was a straight right. Oh, you know what I mean? Love you guys. Let's go.